In today's news, the Family Support Network is in dire need for the public's help as families flock the organization and for arrested in Virgin Gorda.
Women's Football League launch in the BVI. All this and more when 284 News returns.
How does financial services benefit the BVI? It's been around for more than 3 decades before the World Wide Web and is now part of the everyday life of our islands. More than 2,200 people are directly employed in financial services and another 3,000 jobs are supported indirectly. Jobs are corporate service providers, lawyers, insolvency, accounting, banking, insurance, regulators. That's almost 27% of the national workforce. Of those, more than 65% are BVI landers and belongers. What about restaurants, supermarkets, or shops? Well, 100% of people eat. So, they buy food. They buy swimsuits and shampoo and cars and power tools and plantains and fish and roti and pates. Financial services employees buy painkillers and lots of beer. Then there's electricity and dental floss and toilet paper and pretty much everything else. And everyone needs a roof over their heads and a place to do business, so we all rent or buy from a local landlord. Housing and office space alone means millions of dollars into the pockets of BVI families. At the end of the day, everyone benefits, including charities who receive thousands of dollars every year. And more than 60% of all government revenues come from fees paid by financial services. This money is spent on schools, roads, ports, scholarships, the environment, health, sports, children, youths, and the elderly. Financial services contributes more than $290 million to the BVI economy. That's more than 30% of all economic activity is driven by financial services. This creates thousands of jobs all across the islands, meaning more people have a way to earn a living. What does financial services do for the BVI? Let's just say it keeps our lights on. Financial services is everybody's business. So, come on, mind your business and let's not keep this to ourselves.
Welcome everybody. It's Friday, October 16th, 2020. We are coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the British Virgin Islands. I'm Ron Grant.
And my name is Javon Wilson. What a beautiful Friday and a great end to our work week. Viewers, so much in store for you today as we cover what's happening locally, regionally, as well as internationally. But beginning with some daunting information coming out of Virgin Gorda, viewers, once again, another robbery in Virgin Gorda. Luckily, this time around, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force have moved very quickly, speedily to ensure that the person involved in that robbery yesterday, which includes a minor, by the way, 4 individuals, including a minor, Ron, apprehended. Apparently, they attempted to rob 2 individuals coming out of the basic supermarket. And of course, we'll get into those details, but just really daunting, Ron.
Yeah, definitely. We are living in some tough times and persons seem to be under a lot of pressure to lean towards illegal activity.
Absolutely, and we have been seeing a surge there. Then there's the growing concerns of persons not being able to access basic necessities like food. And Ron, just earlier, I think a few weeks earlier, we were able to speak to the director, the executive director, Mrs. Maris, out of FSN, really speaking to the needs on the ground. Well, because what she said is post-March, which is when we stepped into this pandemic, the number of persons reaching out for help tripled.
Wow.
So at this point, the pantry at FSN is empty, and she's compassionately pleading to the public to please step in and help. We have the details on that later on in the newscast as well.
Most definitely. Continuing on in our news summary, tributes continue to pour in congratulating the success of Dr. Robert Matavius as he retires. A number of persons have been recently charged with unlawful possession of a controlled drug with intent to supply. The war on drugs here in the BVI continues, and we continue to look closely at the highly anticipated U.S. presidential election that's coming up.
Yes, and we cannot miss the details on that. But viewers, for now, we're going to head straight into our newscast. Now, Bishop Ishmael Charles was today appointed as the Honorary Consul to St. Vincent and the Grenadines right here in the BVI. Bishop Charles, as we all know, is the pastor of the New Testament Church of God International Worship Center right here in the beautiful British Virgin Islands, home to over 800 members. but originally hails from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now, earlier today, we were able to witness the ceremony, listening to his thank you speech.
And I really appreciate the government of the British Virgin Islands, the people of the British Virgin Islands, and what we will accomplish in this season, this new season. And Honorable Premier and Ministers are here. I am grateful on behalf of the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I am grateful to honor you today and honor this territory for a historic occasion, the first of its kind in the British Virgin Islands, to have this office be established and guarantee you, I'm a jovial person, I feel my jovial spirit coming on, or the butterflies of God. I guarantee you, Ms. Christopher, there's gonna be other folks knocking at the door. But St. Vincent is the first. And when you're a first child, you're the best thing going. So I am grateful. I am very grateful. I thank all of the supporters that are here today. I thank you, Honorable Premier, Honorable Minister of Education, and your last name is Charles. That's Charles from St. Vincent, right? Antigua, oh no. All related, all Charles are. And my representative is here today. I thank you and all of you. I honor you. I take this opportunity that I will serve the best of my capacity and ability for the glory of this nation and God. And first of all, I say this in closing. And I forget my speeches. I'm going to say this in closing. Great things are wrapped up in small packages. From a scriptural point of view, an Honorable Straker, he's not only the minister, but he's a born-again believer. You would have known this, that in Proverbs 4:7, it says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And in all I get understanding. The key thing here is what wisdom is portrayed between these countries. Here's the catch that I want to say to you. Our present position is not an indication of our future potential with each other. You've heard this statement before, Honorary Premier. You heard it many years ago. It's a statement written by an author named Jim Collins, and he says, if Jehovah God has called you to be great, why settle to be good? We are now called to be great nations. Let's not settle for good. God bless.
That was Bishop Ishmael Charles, of course, compassionately known in the BVI as Pastor Charles. Now, viewers, Premier of the Virgin Islands, Honorable Andrew Foy, in expressing his excitement, said, and I quote, I extend heartfelt congratulations to Bishop Ishmael Charles on his appointment as the Honorary Consul of St. Vincent and the Grenadines right here in the Virgin Islands. I was so delighted to receive Bishop Charles as he presented his credentials in his capacity as a representative of the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I look forward to joining with St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the BVI community as the consular office is established. Of course, that happened today. That was the Honorable Premier, sorry. Now, the bishop was appointed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Commerce for the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Honorable Sir Louise Straker, as Honorary Consul. Bishop Charles will be responsible for promoting the economic interests of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the Virgin Islands, in addition to identifying and facilitating opportunities for development of the business relations, trade, commerce, tourism, and culture, as well as assisting nationals of St. Vincent and the Grenadines living right here in the BVI and enhancing the relationships between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Virgin Islands. Viewers, very historic day for the BVI. Yes. Today we learned that not only is Bishop Ishmael Charles the first consul, but the first consulate period being established in the BVI, and certainly I'm sure the first of many to come. When we think about the BVI, it's such a beautiful, I like to call it a cultural pot, a cultural makeup of so many different nationalities, and so proud to be home to so many different people from all different walks of life. So very happy to see that there is a body now being established. And of course, who better to lead the charge than Bishop
agree.
Charles?
It's a great initiative, and I do hope that we could see more of it as we continue with the representation of so many different nationalities. It is quite an honor. Now, continuing on the local scene, following the highly successful Women's Festival Cup and the increasingly popular national team training programs both on Tortola and Virgin Gorda, the Football Association is now preparing to launch its Women's League with opening day scheduled for October 31st. Floods, storms, and pandemics may it mean almost 4 years since the Bal Stars were crowned champions after seeing off the challenge of the youngsters from VG United, but it will now be the turn of the next generation to spearhead the resurgence of the women's games. Just this past weekend, the likes of Ariel Mohammed, Darcy Rich, and Tiana Van Zoost, all products of the Football Association Schools program, took center stage at the national players took part in a training session and practice match. Now, the future is looking great, commented Wayne Phillip, who is in charge of the program, along with Anna French of Virgin Gorda. The energy and the interest coming from the girls proves we are heading in the right direction, and it is definitely exciting times. In the match, teams Mohammed beat Team Van Zeus 3-1 on goals from Rich and Morgan Creaky, whilst Kezia Gums was also on the score sheet. Although some of the more experienced players are still around to mentor the youngsters and challenge them to become even better, according to Philip, 70% of the players are under 19. Whilst the national team squad training takes place 3 times a week, the Football Association plans will bring a competitive atmosphere to supplement the work of Philip and French. Now, each of the teams participating will be, of course, affiliated to a member club of the Football Association and must include a qualified coach. They ideally will play in the same colors as the parent club, and all players will be registered with the Football Association. Initially, the games will be a 5-side and take place to coincide with the men's games on Tortola and Virgin Gorda. 4 teams have already completed registration process. Now, the Wolves, the Avengers, the Panthers, and VG UTD. The other clubs are putting together rosters, and any females still not signed are encouraged to seek out a club or contact the Football Association office. We are so happy to see that sports is forging ahead and their first women league. So congratulations to the Football Association on this historic success.
Yes, and I guess this is what they mean when we say we keep the ball rolling. So
Indeed.
viewers, very excited, and we want to say congratulations to them.
Now, still ahead, yet another robbery in Virgin Gorda. We're going to explain the details of that, but 4 persons are now in custody. Police, Homicides Rise in the U.S. Virgin Islands. We're going to break that down for you. All this and more. You're watching 284 News.
How does financial services benefit the BVI? It's been around for more than 3 decades before the World Wide Web and is now part of the everyday life of our islands. More than 2,200 people are directly employed in financial services, and another 3,000 jobs are supported indirectly. Jobs are corporate service providers, lawyers, insolvency, accounting, banking, insurance, regulators. That's almost 27% of the national workforce. Of those, more than 65% are BVI landers and belongers. What about restaurants, supermarkets, or shops? Well, 100% of people eat. So, they buy food. They buy swimsuits and shampoo and cars and power tools and plantains and fish and roti and pates. Financial services employees buy painkillers and lots of beer. Then there's electricity and dental floss and toilet paper and pretty much everything else. And everyone needs a roof over their heads and a place to do business, so we all rent or buy from a local landlord. Housing and office space alone means millions of dollars into the pockets of BVI families. At the end of the day, everyone benefits, including charities who receive thousands of dollars every year. And more than 60% of all government revenues come from fees paid by financial services. This money is spent on schools, roads, ports, scholarships, the environment, health, sports, children, youths, and the elderly. Financial services contributes more than $290 million to the BVI economy. That's more than 30% of all economic activity is driven by financial services. This creates thousands of jobs all across the islands, meaning more people have a way to earn a living. What does financial services do for the BVI? Let's just say it keeps our lights on. Financial services is everybody's business. So, come on, mind your business and let's not keep this to ourselves.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now on to our story coming out of the beautiful Virgin Gorda. Now 4 men, including a minor, were yesterday arrested following a robbery just last night outside the Basics supermarket on Lee Road in the Valley, Virgin Gorda. Now initial reports indicate that 2 masked males, one armed with a firearm, approached 2 individuals outside the supermarket, snatched their handbags, and ran to the back of the store, eventually escaping in a vehicle. Now, officers of the Virgin Gorda Police Station responded immediately and apprehended the 3 suspects, including the driver of the vehicle, near a basketball court. The 4th suspect, who fled the scene initially, was subsequently captured and arrested. Now, based on the report, viewers, the police report that is, the stolen items taken from the robbery were soon recovered in the same vehicle, and charges are now pending for the 4. Of course, investigations are ongoing in this matter. Ron, as the economic fallout deepens, we continue to see a surge in local robberies. Many are concentrated, of course, in Virgin Gorda. But the great thing is this time around, because the police was able to respond speedily, and because, of course, community-minded individuals were able to come forward with the relevant information, we're happy to see that persons were apprehended. And we're hoping as well that the police responding this quickly will help to deter some of the crimes we've been seeing, because we have to admit and acknowledge that ever since, especially the onset of the novel coronavirus and the economic fallout as of, we have seen a surge in crime locally, and definitely something we want to be able to keep under control. So kudos to the members of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force.
Most definitely. Taking us now to our next story on the regional scene, just over in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, out of the VI Consortium. When Albert Bryan ran for governor of the Virgin Islands 2 years ago, curtailing crime in the territory was one of the cornerstones of his campaign. Today, gun violence continues to rise, and Mr. Bryan, like his predecessors, has found himself in a similar position, calling on the community to assist law enforcement in bringing criminals to justice. Just like us here, Jovan, in the British Virgin Islands, officials continue to seek the public's assistance in solving and curtailing crime. During the USVI's governor's recent COVID-19 response update, Mr. Bryan said the community has a responsibility to help ascertain safety by, of course, reporting wrongdoing. He said, and I quote, "We have to stand as one people to establish wrong from right and discontinue our silent overlooking of wrong that happens in our community." He continued by saying whether it's an illegal horse track, drag racing, prostitution, loitering in places where you don't belong, the illegal numbers game and the gambling houses, trespassing, all these things we have to say no more to as a community. Now, Mr. Bryan's plea for community support comes days after 21-year-old Caden Ledge was killed after being caught in a crossfire of a shootout on Friday night. At least 4 other people were shot Friday night on St. Croix. A day later, 3 people were shot in St. Thomas, bringing the total reported shootings to 8 between Friday and Saturday. Friday's homicide was the territory's 41st for 2020. The 39th homicide occurred in St. Thomas at the Oswald Harris Court on September 13, followed by the 40th incident less than an hour later on the Melvin Evans Highway on St. Croix, where a 20-year-old woman was pursued by high-speed chase and was shot and killed. Now, on Friday, during a Committee on Homeland Security, Justice, Public Safety, and Veterans Affairs hearing, legislators received testimony from the VIPD Commissioner Trevor Villino relative to the increase in gun violence and the VIPD efforts to confront essentially the problem. Mr. Villino told the committee that the police force has been tactically combating gun violence with help from both federal and local partners. He said the VIPD considered the territory's gun offenses very seriously and will continue to collaborate with our federal and local partners alike to yield, arrest, and prosecute these cases. Now, Jovan, seeing a 29% increase in gun violence, and of course, the statistics that we just shared continue to show that over in the U.S. Virgin Islands, the war against crime is proving to be a very difficult one. We don't have as much of it in the BVI, and we're thankful. Of course, we would have all remember the story where the latest murder victim, one of the latest murder victims, a charge was made, an arrest was made, but we continue to see where regionally it's continuing to still be a major problem.
Right, and we also have to acknowledge again that I think not just in the BVI or the USVI, but across the region, across the world, there has been a really fragile relationship between the police and the community. And I'm not sure if we're putting enough efforts into bridging that gap, but what we continue to see is persons are hesitant,
I agree.
Really hesitant to come forward with relevant information that could solve a lot of these crimes. And a lot of the times, Ron, persons in the community know what's happening.
Indeed.
You know, they would have heard something. But we also live in a region where you're not necessarily protected once you come forward with that information. So it's such a tricky thing. But we always like to pan across...
Especially in small communities like ourselves, it makes it extremely difficult.
We always like to pan across to the USVI and what's happening there because we're so closely knitted, one. We're almost like interconnected. But we also want to be able to learn from each other. And what's happening in the USVI, 29%, is something that we certainly do not want to get to here in the BVI.
I agree.
Yes, viewers, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're getting into a very important story, please, coming out of the Family Support Network, and it's a situation where even you can help, so stick with us.
The win! Oh!
What are the hell?
I'm freaking out!
Is time.
284 News.
Coming to you live and direct from the beautiful British Virgin Islands.
What's poppin', what's really good, what's happening, what's up?
Davis has won it for the Lakers!
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Now, so many persons in our community, like you know, continue to grapple with the financial struggles of this pandemic, many of whom have been forced to reach out to the Family Support Network. Now, even FSN, there's only so much that they can do. And so today, the Executive Director, Dr. Maris Hodge-Smith, she's making a very passionate plea to the community for help. Listen, and viewers.
I'm speaking to you from Family Support Network. We are making this appeal to the general public for your assistance. Since COVID-19, the numbers of persons in our community seeking assistance for food from our food pantry has grown. It is to the point where we shop each Monday and by Tuesday our pantries are empty. We have no food to give to families in need. It is unfair to give families the bare minimum that cannot last them a week. So we're asking the general public to look in your cabinets. If you have canned goods that you have not used in over 6 months and you're probably not going to use it, please donate it to FSN. If you go to the supermarket and you feel led to pick up a pack of macaroni and cheese or a can of tuna fish extra, pick it up and donate it to FSN. We are asking for like-minded persons to be there for us to assist these families who are really going through difficult times right now. We have seen families who came to our pantry to supplement what they had on a monthly basis, but now we are seeing families who are coming because they have absolutely nothing in their pantries. They have no food to give their children. They have no Pampers for their babies to wear or no formula. So these are things that we're asking for. We're asking for assistance for things like baby Pampers, formulas, milk, meat items, canned goods, whatever you can bring, we will have people who will take it. Vegetables, fruits, whatever you can get, eggs, they need all those things. So we're asking you to assist us. If you're a corporation and you have funds that you donate to the community or to community projects, we're asking for your assistance. To those companies that already help us, we thank you. We are grateful because we do have some corporations who on a monthly basis send us some assistance. But there are many more who are not doing anything. And if you can, we're appealing to you because there are many persons in our communities right now who are suffering. This is not a joke. This is not where people take because they just want. It's because they need. So we're asking you to help us to fulfill these needs. There are people who come who have not paid rent in 4 months, who are on the verge of being displaced. We're asking for your assistance. If you want to say, let me adopt a family who is having a difficult time. We have people who are ill, who cannot pay their hospital bills because they're not working. Please remember FSN. Remember, we are here to support families, not just with domestic violence, but anything that it takes to help a family remain intact. That is our mandate, and that's what we care about. Keeping families together, keeping families healthy and hale in the BVI. So if you can help us in any way, we're looking forward to hearing from you. Our number is 499-0999. Thank you, and please give us a call.
That was Dr. Hodge Smith out of the Family Support Network. And Ron, what a heavy cap to carry. It's just difficult to see her speak in that capacity. And on behalf of so many vulnerable persons, we do know that so many have been financially displaced and continues to struggle. We've heard about it. We've been talking about it here at 284 Media. Even Dr. Jarecki recently, of course, he's delivering meals over 500, I think by now over 700 meals per day to like between 5 to 7 districts. But really speaking to the dire needs in our community and him saying, even him recognizing that persons are being forced to choose between food and bills. And Ron, you know, there's a woman that I came across some months ago, and it was just sad to hear her sad to listen to the fact that she has to, you know, literally have 1 meal per day just to ensure that her 3 kids can, you know, eat. And it's just a really sad situation. Indeed. And, you know, today, we do know that some persons are supporting the Family Support Network, whether it's members of our community or corporate BVI. But I do feel, Ron, that for the most part, we can do a bit better. So I'm directly appealing to, especially corporate BVI, but this is across the board. Yes. Like Dr. Hodge Smith said, anything will do. It matters not what it is. Persons are being forced out of their homes as we speak. And we just want to be able to have a little bit more compassion in these times. You might think it's not significant, but to somebody else, it may mean the world.
Absolutely. Jovan, earlier this week, we covered a story, The Power of One, where the Rotary Club Sunrise is having a similar initiative, whether it's one can good, one pledge, essentially coming and stepping up to the plate. Nonprofits in our territory having a very difficult time all across the board, and at this crucial time, I just like you said, want to employ persons to continue to be cognizant and aware. If you might be in a position to assist a family, whatever it may be, now is the time that you can give back to your community in a very supportive and way to help a family in a difficult time. So we continue to support and wish the Family Support the best of success as they continue to really carry a very tall mantle. I cannot imagine.
It is not easy.
Yes.
And we want to thank them too for their efforts. I know they work feverishly to ensure that they can reach as many families as possible. But we want to say thank you, and of course, again, implore all of the BVI to do what they can to assist in these very trying times. Viewers, that is all the time that we have for now, but you can definitely check us out on 284 Media. I'm not sure if many of you do, but you definitely need to. All our shows, all our articles are there if you're more into reading. Definitely a lot of information available to you there, so you can binge watch and
Of
do all of that
course.
this weekend right there on 284media.com. We're also on Facebook at 284media, Twitter and Instagram at 284BVI. So join us, all right? My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Ron Grant. We're wishing each of you a happy Friday. Do have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you on Monday with more local, regional, and international content. You've been watching 284 News. Bye-bye.
Bye.